How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the debut of a brand new series here on the Razman's Reality, one that I'm very excited about. All the time, my friends, either through private conversation or through their reviews, are recommending movies to me or TV shows to me that I've never seen before, that I just sort of looked past and thought, I don't know about that film when I saw the trailer for it, or I don't know about that TV show because it looks like another show that I've seen 100 times. But then a lot of the times when I watch this stuff, I end up really liking it. So I thought, hey, I can't buy a lot right now because I'm in between jobs. We need consistency here on the channel. Why not make this a video every Wednesday where I take a chance on something and see if I like it? So welcome to Recommends. And the stars of this week's Recommends, that's right, we got stars, plural, two friends who highly recommended this film. The first was FKVlogs, Frankie. And the second was Stoudman, Justin. So today I'm going to be reviewing DreamWorks' The Croods. Today on the Razman's Reality. Now, when I first saw the trailer for The Croods, I was like, meh, because how many caveman stories have there been? Like, that's an idea that Hollywood as a whole, whether it's on film or television, really seems to fall back on with a crutch a lot. And a lot of times they're not very good movies, to be honest with you. The most entertaining caveman story to me has always been, well, there's two really, I guess, Tarzan and George of the Jungle. But beyond those two, it's like, I've seen this before. I don't really count Mowgli from the Jungle Book as a caveman. I mean, I guess he kind of was because he was raised in the jungle, but he's not really like prehistoric, dinosaur era caveman guy. So yeah, George of the Jungle and Tarzan were who I found most entertaining in that genre, if you want to call it that. But after seeing Frankie and Justin go on and on in videos, Frankie mentioned this, I think, in 2 different videos, because she did a full-on review of it, and then she did her top DreamWorks, is it top 25? Yeah, I think it's top 25. My goodness, that's a lot of films. Or maybe it was top 10 or 15. Anyway, I'll find the video and I'll put it down below in the description box. But she did a whole big list of DreamWorks animation films, and it's one of my favorite videos of hers. So yeah, if you haven't seen that, I will definitely link it below in the description box. But she talked about The Croods in that as well. So I was like, you know what? This is a movie that I really need to see. And then I saw Ian talk about it in Top 5 DreamWorks the week before I joined Top 5 Fridays. So I was like, or no, not Ian, sorry. It was James, or maybe both James and Ian, I can't remember now. But the point is, everybody nearly on my subscription list was talking about The Croods. So I was like, okay, there's got to be something here that I'm missing. And sure enough, boy, was there ever. Now, I'm going to try to stay away from spoilers as much as I can, So anything I give away in terms of the plot is just sort of how the story is structured and what sort of drives it forward and sort of motivates you to want to keep watching the film, if that makes sense. So first, before we can even get into any of that, I have to talk about the voice cast for this one. I think that is one of the biggest reasons that this film is stood apart from a lot of other animated features that just try to be another animated feature, because the voice talent on this was just amazing. They took on paper what could have been a meh story and really turned it into something. You've got Nicolas Cage, you've got Emma Stone, you've got Clark Duke, who you're going to know from Hot Tub Time Machine, Kick-Ass, and Sex Drive. And then you've got Doris Leachman. I think it's Doris Leachman as the older grandmother. So it's just a tremendous voice cast, and that alone, like, I didn't know anything about the film because, like I said, the trailer didn't grab me, and I was like, meh. And how many times have I said meh in the course of this? Sorry. But anyway, moving on. It didn't grab me, so I didn't know anything about this film. I didn't know who was in it. I didn't know what the plot line was, anything. So I was really, really blown away when I turned Netflix on and started watching this, and there was this amazing crew. Because that's the kind of person that I am. If I'm going into a movie blind, I'm going into a movie blind. I don't even read the little blurb on the back of the case, or the little blurb on the side of Netflix, or the little blurb on a cable that tells you who is in the movie or when the movie was made. I'm going into it completely blind. I'm either going to love it or I'm going to hate it. So I was really, really surprised by the voice cast in this one. So I can't talk about that enough. If nothing else I say here in the course of this review convinces you to watch the Croods, the voice cast alone is reason to watch the Croods. But then you have their acting skills. I mean, when you pick a voice crew like that, you know that, okay, you're going to get some good acting in the film, even if you can't see their faces. Because that's the thing about voiceover animation that really, of course, started with the first Toy Story, and it's just evolved and evolved and evolved through both Disney/Pixar and DreamWorks over the years, is that you don't just get a voice behind an animated character. You get like a full-on character that embodies the acting skills of the actor or actress that is portraying them, because they're able to put their mannerisms, put their actions from behind the microphone, all of that through CGI into the characters themselves. So you had a really, really entertaining story here about a caveman family who is the last surviving caveman family, and they think they're completely alone, and their daughter, played by Emma Watson, Eep, is completely frustrated by the world, and she wants to go out and explore, but her dad, Nick Cage, is like, no, Grub is his name. He's like, no, you have to stay in the cave, you have to stay safe. New is bad. Hopefully, there was even a line in the movie that really cracked me up, where, because they're afraid of anything new, afraid of anything that might eat them or whatever. So there's a line in the movie that goes, I hope nothing big realizes I'm here yet. And that line made me completely just like fall over laughing. I loved it. But, well, not physically, of course, because I can't fall over because I'm in a wheelchair. But yeah, you all know what I'm saying. Figuratively speaking, I fell over laughing. It was great. But yeah, so that's the plot line, and that really was like, okay, it's a coming of age story in a cartoon. Like, honestly, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be the daughter rebelling against the father, blah blah blah. We've seen that story 10,000 times. But what actually happens is that one night, Eep goes out because she hears a noise and she finds another human, a male human around her age named Guy, who clearly is more evolved than her family is. And she learns things from him like fire and other things that happen. And so she goes back and she tells her family, she's all excited. She's like, oh my gosh, I met this guy named Guy, and he told me all this stuff. He told me about fire. You've got to see this. You know, Groot, sorry, I've got Groot on the brain. I'm Groot! Like, every time he said Grub, I just thought, Groot, I'm Groot. But, anyway, or no, I got all high pitched there, so I'm even doing it wrong. I am Groot! There we go. But, yeah. He's still trying to fight it, Grub is. But then something happens and their cave is destroyed. And they realize, oh my gosh, we've got no cave now. We've got no choice. How do we live? How do we survive? So, early on, Guy gives Eep a seashell, and he's like, blow on this seashell. If you survive, you can find me. So she blows on it, trying to get him to come back, and he comes back, and what happens is, reluctantly, Guy ends up getting grouped together with the Croods, and they all go on this adventure of finding a new place to live and finding the world together. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because it's a story that isn't just like I was trying to convey a minute ago. It isn't just a story that's the surface plot of the film. It's a story that is about the characters and the journey that they take and the change of the characters that you kind of know by the end of any film, really, when it starts out with certain characters being stubborn or not likable. You kind of know that they're going to change by the end of the story that you see, but it's the journey and the way they did it in this film with not just one character, but every single one in one form or another. Some are smaller than others. The biggest changes comes from Nicolas Cage's Grub character and Eep's character, Emma Stone, and also the grandmother character actually goes through one of the bigger changes. All of the rest of them are fairly small in nature, but they're there and they're subtle. And it's just a really, really nice mix of, okay, this is obviously the story we're going to tell, but we're going to tell it in a way that's going to grip you, going to keep you on the edge of your seat, and keep you entertained and make you laugh. Like, there's a little creature in this film called Belt, because the guy created the word belt and created what a belt is, you know, wearing it around your waist, but he did it to his little animal friend, and his mannerisms are hilarious in this. It was very much like the Minions in Despicable Me, some of the same voices because of the way that he does his catchphrase. Like, I'm not going to say what his catchphrase is in this because I want it to be something that you experience for the first time if you've never seen this, but it's hilarious. And I just loved it. I loved his character. So everything about this was just flawless, and this film made me even more want to see How to Train Your Dragon 2, because I love the How to Train Your Dragon movie. It's one of my favorite films of the last decade, and I've been dying to see How to Train Your Dragon 2 and even check out the show Riders of Berk. So I knew that DreamWorks was becoming better and better and better at what they did, but this really, really just surprised me. It honestly just really surprised me and really took me back to a place where I was like, okay, this was a really great recommendation. So I'm hoping that will be the case again with the next DreamWorks film that we'll be taking a look at in 2 weeks, which is yet another Frankie recommendation, Turbo. Turbo, I've never seen. It's available on Netflix, so we're going to be taking a look at that in 2 weeks' time. Why didn't I just go back to back DreamWorks? Well, there is another film that's available on Netflix that was recommended by the guest on this week's The Razman's reality radio show on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time over on epicgamerradio.com, with archives being uploaded Friday, who recommended a film to me. So I want to tie that in with her podcast appearance. Like, I want you guys to hear the radio show / podcast, and then I want to say this is the film that Sim, London City Girl TV, recommended to me during the podcast. So that's what I'm going to do next week, just to make all of my media flow together. So next week will be a recommendation from London City Girl TV, and then we'll get back to, as I said, DreamWorks once again with Turbo. So with that, if you have a recommendation of your own, feel free to leave it down in the comment box down below. Send me a tweet, send me a Facebook message, hit me up on Instagram underneath one of my photos, and let me know, hey Raz, check out this, add this to recommends, and I will definitely put it on my list and keep this going, because I think I know so many people that, and I have so many great subscribers, that there's no reason why I can't keep this going for maybe ever. There might be a way to keep this going for the rest of the lifespan of YouTube. So I'm really excited about it. Hope you guys are and gals are too. So like I said, if you have any of your own, let me know about them and I will add them to the list. As always, if you're new here and you like what you saw here today, please subscribe, because I would love to see you again. Thank you to my Patreon supporter, India Maiden. Your support is greatly appreciated. And this is Reality According to the Razman. And Razman style is not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.